The vastness of space stretched endlessly, a dark canvas dotted with distant stars. For Commander Alex Rayner, it was both beautiful and terrifying. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for centuries, the first contact with an alien civilization. And now, standing on the bridge of the exploratory ship Horizon, Alex felt the weight of responsibility pressing on his shoulders. Their destination loomed ahead, the homeworld of the Xylarians, a highly advanced alien race known across interstellar intelligence networks. Reports described them as regal, wise, and cautious, species who had avoided open contact with humans for decades. Yet here they were, extending a rare invitation to the human delegation. Alex glanced at his team. Each member mirrored his mix of excitement and anxiety. Dr. Mara Lin, the ship's science officer, checked environmental readings for the 100th time. Lieutenant Jason Ortiz adjusted his helmet straps nervously, while Ambassador Alina Hart studied diplomatic protocols in a quiet corner. Atmosphere readings stable, Mara said. The air composition is different but safe. Helmets are recommended only for long exposure. Alex nodded. Good. Keep your helmets on until we're inside the palace. I want no surprises. The landing sequence began. The Horizon glided smoothly through the violet-hued clouds of the Xylarian atmosphere. Below, the capital city shimmered, a breathtaking network of crystalline towers and flowing energy streams that hummed with life. Even from this distance, the beauty of their civilization was undeniable. As the ship touched down, the doors opened to reveal a delegation waiting on the landing platform. They were taller than humans, their skin a soft iridescent shade, their eyes large and deep, reflecting wisdom and curiosity. At the center stood the alien queen herself, Lyria. Her presence was commanding yet graceful, a mixture of authority and elegance that immediately drew attention. Alex stepped forward with measured steps, keeping his hands visible. I'm Commander Alex Rayner of the United Earth Alliance. We come in peace and with respect for your people. Lyria's gaze met his, calm yet piercing. She tilted her head slightly, studying him as if assessing the depth of his soul rather than his words. Her voice was melodic yet carried a weight that made every word resonate. Welcome, humans, she said. You have crossed the void and arrived at Xylaria. Here you are under observation. Remove your helmets, the delegation froze. Alex's heart skipped a beat. He had expected protocol, tests, questions, but this, removing the helmet in a foreign atmosphere, was risky. Even though the readings said it was safe, the unknown always carried danger. He glanced at his team. Fear flickered in their eyes, but also trust. They looked to him for guidance. Alex inhaled deeply. A decision was required, not later, but now. Understood, he said calmly. I will comply. The tension was palpable as he slowly removed his helmet. The hiss of decompression filled the brief moment of silence. The air smelled faintly of minerals and a strange sweetness, completely unlike Earth. Alex took a steady breath, letting the alien atmosphere fill his lungs. Lyria's eyes widened slightly, almost imperceptibly, but it was enough. Her court murmured among themselves, curious, cautious, yet respectful. No human had ever shown such composure in her presence. Impressive, Lyria said softly, more to herself than to him. You are not afraid, Alex maintained eye contact. Fear does not define us. Respect does. The simplicity and honesty of his words seemed to resonate within the alien court. Whispers spread like a gentle wind through the room. The humans were not just physically resilient. They possessed a courage that came from their hearts and minds, something far different from raw strength or technological might. Lyria stepped closer, her movements fluid and graceful. Many of your kind would falter. You do not. Why? Alex shrugged lightly, a small, almost human gesture of humility. We face the unknown because we must. Because understanding each other matters more than fear, and because curiosity drives us forward. The queen studied him, her expression unreadable, yet her eyes held a spark of intrigue. She had ruled for centuries, and in that time she had seen countless species. Many were intelligent, many were strong, many were cunning. But few had the combination of bravery, empathy, and determination that humans possessed. A silence fell, heavy with meaning. The Xylarian attendants had been trained to observe, not interfere, but now they were quietly astonished. This human, small by comparison, unarmored and unprotected, was facing their queen without hesitation. Follow me, Lyria finally said. Her voice was gentle but firm. The palace awaits. You may keep your helmets off while inside. We will provide an atmosphere suitable for you. The humans exchanged relieved glances, but Alex remained calm. He knew this was only the first step. Trust had been extended, but the real challenge was building it further. Inside the palace, the walls shimmered with organic light, pulsating softly as if alive. Every surface was smooth, flowing, and elegant, yet functional. The humans could not help but marvel at the design. Even their advanced technology paled in comparison to the beauty of this civilization. As they moved deeper into the palace, Lyria walked beside Alex. "You understand bravery," she said. "But can you understand responsibility? Leadership? Empathy?" Alex met her gaze. "I can try. That is all any of us can do." The queen nodded subtly. "Good. Observation alone does not teach wisdom. Action and understanding do. We shall see if your species lives up to its potential." For the first time, Alex felt a glimmer of hope. Humanity had survived countless trials, faced dangers unimaginable, and still they had reached the stars. Now, standing before an alien queen, he realized that this was not just about survival. It was about proving that humans could rise above fear and uncertainty, showing the galaxy a strength deeper than weapons or technology, the strength of the human spirit. The chamber doors opened to a grand hall. Lyria turned to face Alex fully. "Commander, your species intrigues me. Let this meeting be the first of many tests, not of your body, but of your character." "Shall we begin?" Alex took a steady breath, feeling the weight of history in that moment. "We are ready," he said with quiet conviction. Lyria's eyes softened almost imperceptibly. Perhaps she had expected fear, hesitation, or arrogance, but she saw none. She saw something new, something rare. Hope, courage, and sincerity, shining clearly through the human. And in that moment, an unspoken understanding passed between them. The first step had been taken. The humans had arrived not as conquerors, not as weaklings, but as beings capable of surprising even the most advanced minds in the galaxy. Outside, the stars continued to burn brightly, indifferent to the events unfolding below. But inside the palace, something extraordinary had begun. A bridge between worlds built not from technology, but from trust, courage, and the undeniable spark that made humans. Human. The grand hall of the Xylarian palace shimmered with a gentle light that seemed alive. Alex Rayner, still helmet-free, followed Queen Lyria down the long corridor. Every step echoed softly, a reminder that they were far from Earth and every decision mattered. The humans marveled at the palace. The walls were smooth and organic, glowing faintly with an inner energy. The air carried a soft, sweet scent, unlike anything they had experienced. But Alex's focus was not on beauty. It was on the presence beside him. Queen Lyria moved with a grace that was mesmerizing. Yet there was an intensity in her gaze that reminded him she was a ruler, not a host. "Commander Rayner," she said, her voice low, almost musical. "You removed your helmet without hesitation. Most humans would have hesitated or worse, panicked. Why did you not?" Alex considered her question carefully. "Because fear does not help understanding. And because trust must start somewhere. If we cannot show courage in small things, how can we face greater challenges?" Lyria studied him closely. Her large eyes seemed to penetrate past his uniform, past his physical presence into something deeper. She had seen thousands of species in her lifetime, many intelligent, many strong. But humans were different. They were unpredictable yet strangely resilient. "Very well," she said finally. "You shall face a test. Not of strength, not of weapons, but of mind and spirit. The Xylarians value understanding above all else. If your species wishes to prove its worth, you must demonstrate it here." Alex felt a ripple of tension in his chest. Tests were expected, yes, but the air of seriousness in her words was unlike anything he had experienced. "We are ready," he said steadily. Lyria gestured to a large doorway and 2 attendants stepped forward, carrying a curious device. It resembled a console, but it emitted soft light patterns that shifted constantly. Alex approached cautiously. "This is the simulation chamber," Lyria explained. "It creates situations to observe reactions. Some will challenge your intellect, some your emotions, and some your morality. You may withdraw at any time, but understand, hesitation may be interpreted as weakness." Alex's jaw tightened. This was not a battlefield, but it could be more dangerous in other ways. "We understand," he said. His crew echoed the sentiment, standing firm despite the strangeness of the chamber. Lyria's eyes softened, just slightly. Observe, learn, act wisely. Your responses define not just you, but all humans. The humans entered the chamber. The walls rippled and the light patterns enveloped them. Instantly, they were immersed in a vivid simulation. The floor beneath their feet? The morning light filtered through the high windows of the Silarian palace, casting soft patterns on the polished floor. Commander Alex Rayner and his team had been granted time to rest after the grueling simulations of the previous day, but Alex could not sleep. His mind kept returning to the alien queen, Lyria, and the subtle emotions he had glimpsed behind her calm exterior. He knew that the real challenge was not physical. The Xylarians were strong, intelligent, and advanced beyond human understanding. But the humans had something the aliens could not easily quantify: emotion, courage, and a moral compass that guided them even in uncertainty. Alex felt a growing curiosity. Could these qualities truly bridge the gap between species? The chamber doors opened quietly. Lyria entered, her movements graceful yet deliberate. Her eyes met Alex's, and he noticed an expression he had not seen before: vulnerability. "Commander Rayner," she said softly, "you have performed admirably in the tests. Your actions surprised me, and yet I sense there is more to understand. Will you speak with me privately?" Alex nodded. "Of course, Your Majesty. We are eager to understand each other." The humans followed her to a smaller circular chamber filled with soft ambient light. Crystalline structures along the walls glimmered faintly, producing a calming hum. Alex felt the tension in his shoulders ease slightly. Here the palace seemed less like a fortress and more like a living organism, attuned to thought and emotion. Lyria gestured for him to sit. "Humans speak of emotions in ways I cannot fully grasp. Fear, joy, sadness. Yet you navigate them with clarity and purpose. How is this possible?" Alex considered her question carefully. "We feel many things, sometimes all at once. But what guides us is our sense of responsibility and our empathy for others. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it. And compassion is what reminds us that our actions affect more than ourselves." The queen listened intently, her head tilted slightly, as if absorbing not just the meaning of his words but the energy behind them. Alex realized that this was not just a conversation. It was a bridge between two worlds built on trust and openness. "Your species is fair," Lyria admitted. "Most civilizations I have observed prioritize survival, intelligence, or power. Humans, you prioritize values. And yet you also possess strength and resilience. It is an unusual combination." Alex smiled faintly. "We learn from each other. We grow through challenge. We survive not only because of strength but because of hope and connection." For a moment the chamber was silent. The soft hum of the crystalline walls seemed louder than usual, almost like it was listening. Alex felt that same curious energy he had sensed during the simulations. The feeling that this queen, despite her centuries of experience, was being touched by something unexpected. Lyria's eyes softened and she took a step closer. "You speak of hope, yet humans face constant risk, uncertainty, and danger. Why do you continue to push forward?" "Because fear is not the end of the story," Alex replied. "It is a reminder that we must try. To understand, to connect, to do what is right. We are small in the universe, yet our choices can matter greatly." The queen's gaze lingered on him. "I have ruled for centuries. I have seen civilizations rise and fall. Yet, humans, you are different. You remind me that even in the vastness of space, one being's courage can inspire many, and one being's honesty can open hearts that were closed for centuries." Alex felt a quiet warmth spread through him. He had faced alien species before, studied their behavior, and understood diplomacy. But he had never seen a ruler so openly affected by human behavior. This was more than respect, it was genuine emotion. "You are curious about us," he said gently. "And we are curious about you. Perhaps the first step to understanding is not technology, but sharing our experiences." Lyria nodded. "Then tell me, Commander. Tell me what it means to be human." Alex took a deep breath, choosing his words carefully. "Being human is about connection. It is about struggling, failing, and still trying. It is about protecting those you care for, even at great risk. It is about hope, love, and the courage to face the unknown. We are flawed, yes, but it is our flaws that teach us and our choices that define us." Lyria's expression changed subtly. There was a softness in her eyes, almost a shimmer. "Flawed, yet noble," she whispered. "Your species is remarkable. I did not anticipate such depth." The conversation continued for hours, flowing naturally. Alex shared stories of Earth, of humanity's struggles and triumphs, and of the bonds that tied people together despite differences. Lyria spoke cautiously at first, but gradually. She shared glimpses of her own life, her responsibilities, her fears, her triumphs, and the loneliness that accompanied her centuries of rule. Alex listened with patience and empathy. Even rulers need connection, he said quietly. Even those who seem strong can feel alone. Sharing our experiences is what makes us stronger, not weaker. For the first time, Lyria allowed herself to show vulnerability. Her large eyes reflected a mix of wonder, sadness, and something else. Admiration, perhaps even trust. The queen had ruled with logic and wisdom, never allowing emotions to interfere with decisions. Yet here, a human had reached something within her that centuries of rule had not touched. "You have done something rare," she said finally. "You have reminded me that even in power one can still be open, still feel, still connect. This I have not experienced in many lifetimes." Alex smiled softly. "That is why we are here. To understand each other, to find common ground even when worlds seem far apart." The chamber grew quiet. The only sound was the soft hum of the walls, a gentle reminder that this place was alive with energy and awareness. Alex felt a profound sense of possibility. Humanity had survived wars, disasters, and countless trials. Now, facing a species more advanced and ancient than anything on Earth, they had the chance to forge a new path, not through dominance, but through understanding. Lyria finally stepped back, regaining her regal composure. "Commander Rayner, you have taught me more in hours than I learned in decades observing other species. Your actions, your words, your empathy, they are extraordinary. Perhaps humans are the bridge between civilizations, the spark of something greater." Alex felt a sense of awe. The queen, a being of centuries, acknowledged not just his intelligence but the very essence of humanity. Courage, empathy, morality, qualities often overlooked in a galaxy that valued technology and power above all else. "We still have much to learn from each other," Alex said humbly. "And I believe we can. Together." Lyria nodded, a subtle smile touching her lips. "Yes, together." The humans returned to their quarters that evening, but Alex could not shake the feeling that something profound had begun. The connection with Lyria was not just political. It was emotional, intellectual, and deeply human. For the first time, he sensed that humans might not only survive in the galaxy, but also inspire it. Outside, the stars continued to shine. Vast, silent, and indifferent. Yet inside the palace, two beings, one human, one Xylarian, had begun a bond that could shape the future. It was not forged in battle, not won through strength, but through empathy, courage, and the quiet power of understanding. Alex lay in his quarters that night, reflecting. Humanity had many enemies, many challenges, and many unknowns ahead. But if a single human could touch the heart of an alien queen, could bridge centuries of isolation and authority with honesty and courage, then perhaps the universe had room for humans to shine. And deep within the palace, Lyria stared at the stars from her tower, thinking of the small human who had shown her a new way of seeing the galaxy, through hope, courage, and the simple, profound truth of being human. The palace was quiet as dawn broke over the Xylarian capital. Commander Alex Rayner and his team had spent the night reflecting on their discussions with Queen Lyria. The conversations had been profound, opening windows into Xylarian culture and the mind of a ruler whose wisdom spanned centuries. Yet Alex knew that words alone could not solidify trust. Action was required. The silence was shattered by an urgent alarm. Red lights bathed the hallways, and a deep hum resonated through the palace. The humans rushed to the command chamber alongside Lyria and her attendants. "Commander Rayner," Lyria said, her voice tense but controlled. "A rogue faction of Xylarians has breached the outer perimeter. They oppose peaceful contact with humans. They intend to end this delegation before trust can be built." Alex's mind raced. The humans were lightly armed, and the palace had advanced security, but the threat was formidable. "Show me the situation," he said calmly. A holographic display activated, showing multiple points of conflict outside the palace. The rogue Xylarians moved with speed and precision, attacking security nodes and disabling defensive systems. The human team assessed the data quickly. "We can't match them physically," Alex said, But we can coordinate, strategize, and use our knowledge to prevent harm. Mara, get me environmental readings for all affected zones. Jason, monitor communications and movement patterns. Alina, prepare to coordinate with the palace staff. The Xylarian queen watched him closely. You must understand, she said. Many of my people do not trust humans. If this escalates, they may not hesitate to act against your team. Alex nodded. I understand. But violence is not the only solution. Let's protect lives first, both human and Xylarian. The team moved quickly, using the palace. The Xylarian palace was quiet that morning, the soft hum of its crystalline walls echoing the calm that had returned after the previous day's crisis. Commander Alex Rayner walked alongside Queen Lyria, his mind still processing the events. Humans had prevented disaster without violence, relying on strategy, intelligence, and empathy. And now something extraordinary was beginning to take root. Mutual respect. You handled yesterday's events with unusual skill, Lyria said, her voice carrying a mixture of admiration and curiosity. I expected fear, hesitation, or recklessness. Instead, you acted with wisdom and compassion. This joy surprises me. Alex shook his head humbly. We are not perfect, Your Majesty. But when lives are at stake, we try to make the right choice. Fear is easy. Courage and care take effort. The Queen studied him carefully as if trying to measure the depth of his sincerity. I have observed many species. Few balance intelligence with empathy. Fewer still act with morality as you did. Humans. You are remarkable. Alex felt a quiet warmth spread through him. Respect from an alien queen was extraordinary, but it was more than that. Lyria's words acknowledged the essence of humanity: courage, empathy, and integrity. He had long believed these qualities were humanity's greatest strengths, and now they had been recognized across the stars. Your people will remember this day, Lyria continued, and perhaps they will begin to see humans not as strangers, not as unpredictable outsiders, but as allies, capable of leadership and wisdom. Alex smiled faintly. That is all we hope for, trust and understanding. If we can inspire one being or one species to act with courage and care, it is worth it. Lyria nodded. You have inspired more than one. Your actions yesterday have begun to shift perceptions among my court. They speak of your calm under pressure, your decisions guided by both thought and heart. They are learning from humans. Alex's team had gathered nearby, observing the exchange. Mara Lynn, the science officer, whispered to him, I never imagined humans could have this effect on an alien civilization. He smiled. It's not just about intelligence or technology. It's about being human, compassionate, courageous, and willing to make choices for the good of others. Lyria guided the humans to a ceremonial hall. Crystal walls reflected the morning light, creating a warm, almost sacred atmosphere. The hall was filled with Xylarians from various ranks and roles, all observing the humans. Their expressions ranged from cautious curiosity to admiration. Today, Lyria announced to the assembly, we honor humans not just for surviving among us, but for showing qualities that inspire respect. They acted with intelligence, courage, and empathy. Let this be remembered as a day of learning, for humans and Xylarians alike. A murmur of approval spread through the hall. For the humans, this was more than ceremony, it was validation. They had faced fear, uncertainty, and potential danger, and had emerged with dignity and respect. Alex felt a sense of quiet pride, but also humility. Their success was not individual. It was a collective effort, guided by humanity's unique qualities. One Xylarian official stepped forward. Commander Rayner, your species' actions demonstrate leadership not through dominance but through responsibility. This is rare in the galaxy. We wish to learn more from you. Alex inclined his head respectfully. Leadership is not about power. It is about care, guidance, and understanding. We will share what we can, and we hope to learn from you as well. The Queen's expression softened, almost imperceptibly. Humans teach through action as much as words. You have reminded us that strength is not measured by weapons but by choices. Alex's thoughts turned to Earth. The people he represented had survived countless hardships, from wars to natural disasters. Humans were adaptable, resilient, and guided by a sense of justice. Now, across the stars, those qualities were being recognized by a civilization older and more advanced than their own. Your species is inspiring, Lyria said quietly, turning to Alex. Even in moments of danger, you think beyond yourself. You protect, guide, and act with morality. This is rare. Alex felt a warmth he had never expected from an alien ruler. "We do what we must," he said, "because every life has value and every choice matters." Lyria's attendants watched silently, their respect for the humans growing with each word and action. They had been trained to observe, to calculate, and to predict behavior, but humans were unpredictable in ways that were admirable. Their decisions were guided not only by logic but by heart. As the ceremony continued, Lyria made a subtle gesture toward Alex. "Commander, your species has proven that courage is not only physical, and wisdom is not only knowledge. You act with empathy and foresight. I acknowledge that humans are capable of leadership, responsibility, and inspiration." Alex felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Not because of recognition, but because humanity's values, the ones he had carried with him since childhood, were finally seen as strengths in a galaxy that often valued power and technology. "Above all else, we will continue to do our best," he said, his voice steady. "Not for recognition, but because it is the right thing to do. That is how we show respect and earn trust." The Queen's eyes glimmered faintly. "And you have earned it. Your species will be remembered not only for surviving, but for inspiring change. Perhaps humans are capable of more than even they realize." Outside the ceremonial hall, the palace courtyard glimmered under the twin suns. Alex looked around at his team and the observing Xylarians. The humans had done more than prevent conflict. They had demonstrated the essence of humanity: courage, empathy, morality, and hope. Mara whispered, "I can't believe the effect we've had. The Queen, even her court. They respect us now." Alex nodded. "It is not about impressing them. It is about showing what humans can do when guided by values, not fear. That is what earns respect." Lyria turned to her court, addressing them quietly but firmly. "Observe these humans. Learn from them. Not their weapons or technology, but their heart. That is the most powerful force in the universe." The Xylarians nodded, understanding the subtle but profound lesson. Humans were fragile in body compared to many species, yet their resilience, courage, and moral clarity made them formidable in ways beyond physical strength. As the humans prepared to leave the ceremonial hall, Lyria approached Alex one final time. "Commander Raynor, you have done more than survive. You have inspired respect, trust, and curiosity. Your actions will be remembered for generations. Perhaps humanity's true power is not what you wield, but what you choose to uphold." Alex smiled, humbled by the Queen's words. "We only do what we must, Your Majesty. The rest is hope, courage, and humanity." For the first time, Lyria allowed herself a small, genuine smile. In centuries of ruling, she had rarely experienced such honesty and sincerity. And in that moment, she understood something essential. Humans were not just another species in the galaxy. They were a reminder that courage, compassion, and morality could inspire even the most advanced civilizations. As the humans left the hall, the palace seemed different. The air shimmered with renewed energy, a sense of possibility and understanding. The bond between species, fragile yet growing, was no longer tentative. It was grounded in respect, shared values, and the recognition of what it truly meant to be human. Alex looked back at the palace, feeling a quiet determination. The galaxy was vast and unpredictable, filled with civilizations whose motives were often unclear. But he now understood something fundamental. Humanity's greatest strength was not their weapons nor their technology, nor even their intelligence. It was their courage, empathy, and ability to inspire others, qualities that could change hearts, minds, and perhaps even the course of history. And deep within the palace, Queen Lyria gazed at the humans with something she had never experienced before. Hope. Not hope for survival, not hope for power, but hope for connection, understanding, and a future where humans could shine as examples of courage, empathy, and wisdom in a galaxy that desperately needed all three. The twin suns of Xylaria rose slowly, casting golden light across the palace and city. Commander Alex Raynor stood on the observation deck, looking out at the alien capital one last time. The mission had been challenging, dangerous, and yet extraordinary. Humanity had faced the unknown, not with weapons or aggression, but with courage, empathy, and wisdom. Beside him, Queen Lyria watched quietly, her expression thoughtful. For centuries, she had ruled with logic, experience, and control. Few beings had ever impressed her. Humans, this small, fragile species, had not only impressed her but had stirred something she had not felt in centuries. Hope. "You have done more than survive here, Commander Rayner," she said softly. "You have shown that humans are capable of more than I imagined. Not through strength, not through technology, but through heart, courage, and wisdom. That is extraordinary." Alex nodded humbly. "We did what any human would do, Your Majesty. We acted with what we believe is right, even when it was difficult. That is all anyone can do." The Queen's eyes softened. "And yet few in the galaxy do so. You have reminded me that even in a universe of power and fear, one species' choices can shine brightly. You are inspiring." Alex felt a quiet warmth at her words. This mission had been more than diplomacy or survival. It had been a test of humanity itself. They had faced alien environments, unknown simulations, and even rogue factions intent on destruction. And through